ahead and good morning, everyone. This is Eileen over at Missouri Assistive Technology, and this is Let's Talk ICT, a part of an ongoing educational series on website testing. One of the things that we want to include with website testing is in your overall plan is using tools like your scanning tools and include individuals as part of the disability community, whether it's an individual that uses assistive technology or you can include a consulting group. But you also can test yourself with assistive technology as long as you have a general understanding of the common barriers. And that is the purpose of this series. Today, we will focus on the alternative mouse called the HeadMouse Nano. And for Missouri staff that are on the series here, just as a reminder, all of the devices we're demonstrating in this series are part of a testing kit that can be borrowed through our ETC program. So today we're fortunate to have Brenda Whitlock. She is a program coordinator here at Missouri Assistive Technology, and she handles several programs for us. Her specialty is in the area of input and output devices for computer access, as well as deaf-blind communication devices. So today, she's a great partner to have showing you that information about this alternative HeadMouse Nano. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Brenda.
Hi, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And like Eileen said, we're just going to test the HeadMouse Nano. And first of all, I did a quick video to show you how simple it is to unbox it and plug it in. It's plug and play. So Eileen will go ahead and start with that. Eileen, we can't hear you. Yeah, that's the video we'd like.
All right, so what I'm sorry you couldn't hear me. I was explaining that we've decided to record some of the demonstrations because the device activity, or if there's a tool that's connected that shows up on the screen that the user is interacting with, wasn't showing with the Zoom recording. So you will see a couple of demonstrations in this way with our series. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and just let me know if you cannot hear it.
Hi, this is Brenda Whitlock with Missouri Assistive Technology, and we are doing the Let's Talk ICT AT Toolkit for web accessibility testing. And today we're just going to unbox the HeadMouse Nano and show you how to set it up. Really easy. It is plug and play, and we're going to show you out of the box what comes with it and then connect it to a Windows device. However, it will connect to a Mac computer or a smart device that uses a USB for the mouse function. So let's get to unboxing. Here's our HeadMouse Nano. And we've got the license information that's already all taken care of for you. And you've got an instruction guide, user manual, and we've got the mount. Looks like this, that will set right on the laptop that comes with it. We've added these glasses. They do not come with it. They do not have a lens, and they have the silver dot that has the infrared that communicates with the laptop. For a couple of cables, we want this short one, and we want the mount which sits right on top of the laptop that's included in the kit. And there are a couple of extra Velcro. And then the most important piece is our HeadMouse Nano. Take that out, and it's just about 2 inches by 1 inch. And there are dots on either side, and no ports on one side, and 2 ports on the other. There's a 2.5 millimeter, and there's a micro HDMI. So we're going to take the cord and we will connect on the top side into the port on the head mouse. And the other end is the USB, and we're going to put that into the laptop. And as soon as I connect that, there are the red dots that you can, the back of it has Velcro, and we'll connect that to the mount. It just snaps right in there. And then we're going to set the mount on this laptop. I'll show you how it goes on another one. You just set it right there, and it sits nice and easy right on top of your laptop screen. We're going to go ahead and set it up there. And the other piece that we're going to use with the HeadMouse Nano, along with Dragger software and an on-screen keyboard, is the switch. This is just a jelly bean switch, very commonly used. And this will go in the other port on top of the head mouse. So we'll click that right in there. That will allow for selection. Single select, we aren't doing total hands-free, but very close. And the other device piece that was also in our box are these glasses, and they have the silver dot on it that has the infrared that communicates with our head mouse to communicate with our computer. As you can tell, there aren't any glasses in there, no lenses in there. So as soon as I put these on, we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so that's enough for your cheesy setup, but as you can see, it's super easy to do that. Anyone can set up a head mouse and you've got head tracking. So why in the world are we even showing this for website accessibility AT testing? Well, several reasons. Basically, your head mouse is an adaptive mouse, a keyboard emulation, a mouse emulation, and you've got the adaptive on-screen keyboard, which we're going to see in a minute. You've got the visual focus that we're going to follow, the reading order, the timing duration is really important. I did single switch with this, but if you're doing dwell time, that will even take even longer than just a single switch letter by letter, like when you're doing a form, and also your target size. So those are some of the things that we're covering and we'll show you in the demo. Go ahead, Eileen, with the demo with showing the on-screen keyboard and dragger with the head mouse and jelly bean switch.
Give me 1 second. Trying to get that pulled up. Okay. And again, like Eileen mentioned, the reason that we're videotaping is because right now on my screen, I have the soft type and the dragger keyboard, but you cannot see them through Zoom. So that's why we wanted to
video it ahead for you so that you can actually see how it's working.
All right. Are you seeing the startup of the
Yes.
video?
Yes. Hi, this is Missouri Assistive Technologies Web Accessibility Testing AT Toolkit, and we're working with the HeadMouse Nano today and our Jelly Bean switch. So any clicks that you hear today will be with the Jelly Bean switch, single click only. And it can also be used with dwell feature, but we are not doing that today. And we're going to show you through our website before page with a few errors on it, and then how this acts differently on our after page. So this is just a mouse alternative to the keyboard, and it is communicating through the IR tracking sensors with the head mouse. And as you can see, I kind of changed my cursor to the bright yellow so that you could see that today. And if I cover the silver dot on these glasses, you'll see that no matter when I move, that cursor does not move. And the light on the head mouse also turns red. But now that it's back able to communicate with the head mouse, we can move our head, and that is what's moving the cursor all around the page. And then we were going to use these navigation buttons, which we'll talk about in just a second. And we'll be using the single switch only. My hands are not touching the keyboard, and this is on a Windows 11 operating system. So let's first go to navigate through. We're going to tab. And if you need to recalculate anytime, you just put your head off to the side so where it doesn't see the sensor, and then back in the middle. I move my head around a lot, and we're going to go back to where we can tab through this. Tab, and you can follow the frame, and it's got the order. There was skip to content. We're going to the next one, and then, oh, I decide, I actually wanted to select skip to content, but I can't do two buttons, right? I can only do one. So this left drag icon, it's the mouse with the left click red highlight. We're going to select that icon. We're going to select shift, and then we're going to select tab, and it allows me to select both of those at the same time, and it went back to my skip to content. Deselect left drag, and then I can go up and single select skip to content. And if I do not want to show this whole keyboard, I select the icon that has a little keyboard, and that disengages your keyboard from the dragger toolbar, which is just these icons. So we're going to show you how it scrolls, and you can click on, single click on the caret, or we can hold it down and it's going to scroll for you. I can also take the scroll bar and move that down as well. We're going to go to a form field, first name. So now we do want our keyboard up. And B, my name is Brenda, R-E-N-D-A. And if I want a capital W, I'm going to go Shift. I'm going to do that left click, drag, and go Shift. Shift W. There we go. And then deselect that. We can also move the location of the keyboard, dock it to the top or dock it to the bottom. And I'm going to just have my dragger buttons, my dragger toolbar, and come down here to drag a file. And before we talk about that, when you are selecting from an on-screen keyboard,
Some individuals can do this really fast, or you can use word prediction to make it faster, but you do want to, on your web page, to make sure that the individual isn't timed out. So they need to have that plenty of time, or have some sort of message that tells you, hey, you're about out of time, or you only have X amount of time. So we are going to click in here to drag a file. Now, if I wanted to double click that, there's the double click icon with the two mice and the yellow, and I can click once on that and it double clicks. Okay. So it's going to upload that file for this form, and that's our before page. Now let's go to our after page. This should flow a lot better. We're going to go down and we're going to scroll, tab, 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 tab. And the skip to content, we're going to select that. And we're going to scroll down. It also does not have the video that automatically plays. As you saw, I accidentally selected another item, and that's an important thing to remember if links are too close together, to make sure that you have room for an individual that is using some type of mouse alternative and or an on-screen keyboard, that they have room, that the links are far enough apart. We're going to scroll down here. To our fillable form. And we're going to left click, and it shows you in the frame. And we're going to dock this to the top. Do a capital, so we do the left drag to do Shift W, and then HIT. Gonna hit tab and tab, and we're gonna tab through these. On our year, we're gonna select this and see how you do a drop down with this. So I can either do the up arrow on my keyboard, and it changes the year, and I can select enter, or you can use the scroll bar depending on the control that the individual has. So we're going to scroll down here, or we'll just tab through here. And tab through, and it's telling me that that field is required. I'm going to tab through. And I'm going to select next page. But on this page, the after page, that's a good design. It tells me that these fields are required. So that's it's great to have that error message. And as well, on this second page, on the first page, I don't know if you heard the video playing or not, and I could not turn it off because there were no navigation keys. And this, with the single switch, I can turn it on. And then I can also pause it. And this just works beautifully. So that was the demo of the on-screen keyboard with the head mouse. And I want to say that I forgot to tell you in the beginning. So I am not obviously a daily user of the head mouse. So
my mouse was going all over the place because my head wasn't really steady and used to doing that. So actually the VIPs in this meeting had an advantage. For VIPs, I mean visually impaired persons, and they had advantage over the sighted individuals because probably some of you got a little nauseous watching that mouse. So I apologize for that. But there are individuals who might take a minute. They may also have that issue when they are using the head mouse or any type of head tracker, that it may take them a second or two to get onto the target that they want. So does anyone have any questions on either the setup or how you utilize the head mouse for testing? Eileen, I don't know if you want them to raise their hand or just to unmute.
Yeah, either one is fine.
Okay, great. That either means that we answered all your questions or it's so simple you don't have any questions. And I will turn that back over to you, Eileen. Or Lainey, I think, might share something with us.
Well, we do. Did you want to, or Kyle, did one of you want to talk to this slide about why test with an alternative mouse device like HeadMouse Nano?
Yeah, I had mentioned some of those before the demo, but Kyle or Lainey might have more technical way to explain that.
I just wanted to make comment that especially understanding that with a lot of this AT technology, a screen reader, a magnifier, any alternative mouse input. Brenda kind of mentioned it, but the time is really important. Like you're not going to fill out a form, especially if it's in a pretty extensive form, as quickly as someone who can see and just check all the boxes, type, and you're done in 5 minutes. It might take us 10, 15, 20 plus minutes to do the same thing. And so it's a little tricky sometimes if you do want to have a timeout on your website, because I know there are definitely a lot of government websites. They're like, oh no, don't leave it open. We got to time you out. Well, there's downsides to that. And typically you want to let someone extend it if they're still sitting there. But that's probably one of my main things with any of this technology is just make sure you can give us enough time to fill it out, because you want us to fill out the information and we want to fill it out too. So let us do that.
Thanks, Kyle.
I had a question. So, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead, Jessica.
So, if you have someone who does need more time, are companies and like government websites, are they starting to like create like check a box if it's going to take you more time to complete this information?
Lainey or Kyle, do you want to answer that?
Kyle, do you know if there's any limitations on any of the applications that you work on?
I've personally not seen anything like that. The typical way people deal with that is if there is like a 30-minute timeout on your login, there typically there will be some sort of extend this another 30 minutes, and like a little pop-up pops up. Um, that would be kind of how I would deal with it. I've not necessarily seen that, because even if you give more time, what if the time that you're given isn't enough? So I would just have some sort of dialogue that pops up, say, hey, you have 5 minutes left, click here to extend it. And that way you can just keep extending it. Because obviously if they're not there to not click the button, it won't be extended, they'll be logged out. But if they're still sitting there, then you're fine.
That would be the best way to handle it for sure.
Yeah.
And this is Lainey. Just to reiterate, because I've got a best practice slide that's coming up, but it kind of covers some of the things here. Kyle mentioned, the timing thing, which is very critical. And with the HeadMouse Nano, a couple of the areas that are, additionally areas that web developers have to think about is just, and it's indicated here about having good, clear visual focus indication on items. You saw Brenda go around and you saw things, outline and different things like that. And that kind of information is built through what we call styles. And in some cases, I see where that's not implemented when I'm testing, and I have to go back and report that back. But the visual focus indicators are important, and the fact that you have to really watch for no mouse only interactions. You have to make sure that you're indicating keyboard only, because on hover, things like on hover and different things like that are okay, as long as you still include the keyboard equivalent to that, on focus, on click, things like that. So those are kind of the areas. And then Brenda also mentioned too about not having things too close together, things that have targets like links and buttons and things, not making them too small and not making them too close together to where it is very hard to focus on that target. And Eileen, I don't know if you want to jump to the next one, but I've kind of covered. I had a couple of best practice items, and it's kind of reiterating what was here. Having the ability to tab through is important, and then clear visual indication. And anything else you want to add, Kyle?
Yeah, you mentioned the target size. It goes even beyond mouse too, because a lot of things are touch screen on a tiny phone, well, relatively tiny phone nowadays. Um, that's also something that you want to think about if someone is using a phone. Can they hit your tiny touch target with their big chunky meaty finger? And so it's not even just a mouse thing, and that's where some of those guidelines came from initially, was the initial iPhone and smartphone guides. That 44 pixels touch target size was came from the early days of the smartphone. We wanted people to be able to have a big enough touch target, and so that's always something to think about too.
And here's a general question for everybody in the group. So we talked in the first session about the POUR concept. So if you think about POUR, perceivable, operable, understandable, robust, what would this type of device help you test, and which one of those parts? And you can add that into the chat. Let's go back one slide, because this should kind of give you some ideas. Yeah, Amy's saying operable mainly. Yeah, absolutely. So the functionality of how your website works, is it operable with the device? Absolutely. So a lot of these are the WCAG, 2 point somethings, where the testing will support what you're doing. All right. And anybody else have any questions or any last minute comments? Nope. Okay, great. It's a quiet group today.
Yes.
Yeah, Chad's said thank you, and that was a great demonstration. This is a very complicated device with many moving parts. So I think Brenda did an amazing job showing us how to set it up and then how it functions, what you're seeing on the screen. So Brenda, thank you for the demonstration, and Kyle and Lainey for sharing the technical aspects of this part of assistive technology testing. Yep, Jessica is saying yes, she did.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, everyone.